Awesome. There we are live.
We
It
are
is a Monday. How are you, my dear?
good, good. How are you? Yeah, I think when we did our special lives for Saturday, we we had technical difficulties, so at least we know it's consistent. So,
Yeah.
welcome to Monday, everyone.
Right? Yeah. It is a Monday for sure.
Yeah. So, we have a very special guest. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. This is a friend of mine. Her name is Keleka Dawson, and she's got quite the inspiring story. I met Kalika, let's see, how long has it been now?
2017.
There you go. Um, and we hit it off immediately. Like I knew she was going to be a lifelong friend, and we've stayed in touch the whole time, which has been fun. And but I've watched her journey uh, and thought it was worthy of her to come on and just kind of talk about just your journey, everything that you've been through, and where you're at now, and so forth. So I'm just gonna let you just jump in and start. And
Okay. Well, once again, my name it's actually pronounced Keleka, but a lot of people pronounce it Kalika. So I actually accept it because that's how I grew up with it. But it's actually pronounced Keleka. I'm 43. I have two grown sons and I have a little 4-year-old granddaughter. So I have been officially since 2010 working on losing weight. So a little over 14 years. Um, I had seen lots of dietitians, I had seen lots of doctors. Everybody told me there was no reason why I weighed 658 pounds. Like I'd spent weeks in hospitals having my dietitian watch every single thing that came in, having my family come and only visiting me certain hours to make sure that I wasn't sneaking food in. And after being there, they were like, okay, there's really no reason. So I'd been seeing everybody under the moon trying to figure out why, no matter what I ate, what I did, it wasn't working. So I met my wife, and my wife was super supportive. She didn't care what I looked like. We've been together 15 years. This March will be officially together 15 years. So we've been together a minute. um, and so she supported me through this whole process. Her and my boys have been my number one supporter. I couldn't have asked for a better team that was in the background when it comes to this whole journey. Um, we saw another dietitian, because my health insurance was trying to figure out what was wrong with me, because no matter what I did, my blood was fine, everything was fine, nobody could explain anything. So we saw a dietitian. She's like, there's no reason why you're this big. So she recommended me to see a gastric bypass doctor. And me and my wife went with several of them, not just one. We met with several of them, and we didn't like many of them. Um, and they were like, okay, something's not right. Mind you, we lived in Seattle at the time. And they said, okay, something's not right. Let's hurry up and get you into surgery. You can't explain to me why, like, I had no problems. So they were like, well, we can just go ahead and have skin surgery. So I originally had a skin surgery done because I lost, from all my hard work, 75 pounds of fat and 25 pounds of skin. So I had this huge, as they call, trunk hanging down. So I'd have to kick when I'd walk. And in that procedure, he found out I actually had two hernias that nobody had ever picked up before. I had two hernias, one through my belly button and one in my towards my colon. But he could not fix the one towards my colon and fix the one in my belly button. So I ended up having one skin surgery where they removed, like I said, 75 pounds of fat and 25 pounds of skin, fixed the hernia, but I officially have no belly button because of it. And that's a very common thing, is people are like, that you need a belly button. Technically, the only thing you need a belly button for is inside your mother's womb. Once you're born, there is no purpose of having that little lint trap that we call a belly button. So with that being said, I was like, okay. And that legitimately, that one act alone spiraled this weight loss. because of that, I was able, no, I still ate the same things. I was still, I'll get to it later, but I was drinking stuff I shouldn't be drinking. And I cut out soda, completely cut out soda. I used to drink, I was a Coke a day girl. You couldn't tell me nothing. And it didn't matter what size it was, as long as I had one, whether it be a small can or a large can or a cup, I was good. So we started with taking out just the soda alone, and that made a significant difference in my energy alone. And then I got to where I started eating off of a saucer plate, right? I ate whatever was presented to me. We grew up, you sat at that table till you cleaned that plate, right? So as an adult, that was the hardest transition for me, is to go from eating what is served to me to eating very little. Even though I would be full, I would still eat it because my brain saw that plate was not empty. So once I learned to start serving me on a little saucer plate, it made a difference, because believe it or not, whatever's on that saucer is all that I ate. And it went from being on the corners to eventually just being a nice round circle in the middle of that before the ledges come up of your saucer plate. So that tells you how I've transitioned into actually eating. When we moved to Texas is when I met Sherry here. She was one of my, I had to get licensed again in the state of Texas for cosmetology. So I was like, I might as well go back to Paul Mitchell, went to Paul Mitchell. That's how I met her. She was one of my regular clients every 30 days in my chair. And we hit it off. So I had scheduled for gastric bypass. At this point, I only weighed 458 pounds. So I went ahead and met a doctor in Austin, and he was like, you know what? I really think you've done everything. You still see a dietitian. You're still eating right. You're still losing in this process. He said, I think it's about that time. Because I had plateaued to where within a year I didn't lose any weight, and I was still exercising on my own. I was still eating. By that, then I learned to eat my blood type. So I'm an A positive person. So an A positive person is supposed to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. So I, in my diet, eat more fruits and vegetables than I do anything. But I make sure that my fruits and vegetables have the iron, have the vitamins, have the protein that I need to survive. I still eat chicken. And I eat salmon only. That is the only fish that I eat. Other than that, that is my source of protein, is my chicken and salmon. I tried a lot of diets. They never seemed to work for me. So when I finally decided to have gastric bypass, I was like, okay, I've tried everything. Why not try something that I haven't tried? And it wasn't that I scared of surgery. I was trying to determine if it was really me not being able to do it, or there was something I needed assistance at this point. I've tried all my options. And I did. I literally tried all my options. So I decided to have surgery. And when I had surgery, that was January 14th of 2014. Yeah, that's when I had my gastric bypass. And I didn't even have to go through the process of medical, because I had already been doing it for so long, trying to figure out what was wrong with me, that I got to skip a whole lot of processes in this that a lot of health insurances make you go through. So when I was at the hospital, they have you drink iodine, right? I'd eaten shrimp before, not had a problem with it. Eat salmon all the time, not a problem, So the very first question they asked me is, are you allergic to iodine? No, I'm not allergic to iodine. Swallow it, because they want to scan your stomach to see if everything's sealed properly after you have surgery. I am 30 minutes off the operating table, awake and in my chair at this point. And he goes, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, you're kind of red. I literally looked like somebody had taken a Sharpie and colored me in a diamond shape down my chest. And you could see where the iodine had gone through, because I was allergic to it and didn't know I was allergic to it. So I cannot have Benadryl. I cannot have Sudafed because I'm allergic to it. So I had to suffer through it. And I got blisters literally from the beginning of my mouth to the bottom, if you understand what I'm saying. All the way through, I got blisters. because I'm allergic to it. Well, fresh out of having gastric bypass, you're supposed to be drinking and having your water and having your liquid protein. I couldn't drink. So within a week of having surgery, I had to go back to the hospital because I was admitted for dehydration. So during that process of finding out I was allergic and going through dehydration, everybody was like, do you regret it? No, I don't, because I was so determined to make it work. I did not care what the devil threw at me. I was going to make it happen. I was going to make it work. So 11 months later is December of 2014. I woke up one day in excruciating pain. Nobody could tell me. Went to the hospital. They were like, nothing's wrong with you. You just probably pulled a muscle. Call my gastric bypass doctor. And I was like, okay, I have this excruciating pain. He's like, is it front or back? I was like, both. So he had me come. And it was a Thursday. And he was like, he schedules me for an MRI and schedules me for a ultrasound. The ultrasound shows that my appendix is trying to rupture and my gallbladder is not working. So he was like, you have to have emergency surgery. I can't. My wife is deployed at this time. I'm a single mom right now. I don't have anybody in this state to come help me watch my children who are currently at school. I said, if you'll give me till tomorrow, I'll have somebody here tonight so I can have surgery first thing in the morning. And sure enough, my brother flew into town to help watch my boys and take care of me so I could have this emergency surgery while my wife was away. So I've had a lot of surgeries in this process. I also developed neuropathy after starting to lose this weight. And what people don't know is neuropathy is either because you're a diabetic or you have an insulin problem, right? Most people go blind. Most people go, they get pins and needles in their hands and feet, or they can do a combination of both. Well, I wasn't going blind, but my feet and hands always felt like fire. They always hurt all the time. Sherry can prove. She met me. I was constantly moving and keeping. And if she came in and wanted her haircut and I couldn't feel my hands, I'd call somebody else to come cut her hair. And I'd teach them and walk them through how to cut her hair, how she liked her haircut, because I refused to let it be messed up because I couldn't do the haircut that she loved. She's not, I mean, I know her. I know her how she likes it. So she's the one that was like, okay, how come you have this? This is a condition that you shouldn't have. Nobody could answer that. Well, after doing research and seeing a lot of neurologists, I actually had it when I weighed 658 pounds, just never knew I was a diabetic because I never went to the doctor and had that portion of my blood ever taken. So once I started losing weight, then the neuropathy came to the forefront. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, what do you do as a cosmetologist who has to stand on your feet all day, who has to have something in their hands all day? Then it became, okay, how do I help myself heal me internally from this condition that is debilitating to a lot of people? Because I'm a fighter. I've always been a fighter. I'm my mom's Spitfire. So then it became a battle of trying to find internal things that I can take to help make me not have to take man-made medicine. So then it became on a journey of everything all natural, from herbs to teas to vitamins to nutrients. Like everything really became at that point trying to help heal me. Now I can honestly say I've not taken any man-made medicine in a year and a half now from taking my neuropathy. And it's just all from learning how and what I should be taking and ingesting. In 2019, at the end of 2019, I had gotten down to almost right under, I was 358. And no matter what I did, I still exercised. I still ate properly. I still drank properly. I met my personal trainer, who was a friend of mine. Well, actually, she was working with a friend of mine. And she's like, maybe you should come in. I was scared of a personal trainer because I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to die. Right? Yeah. And so he was like, I just want you to come try her. So I sent my wife to the gym to see the gym, get to know the personal trainers at the gym, because it's just a personal trainer gym. So the only people in there are personal trainers with their clients. So you don't have other clients coming in and exercising. Everybody in there has a personal trainer attached to them. So I sent my wife, and she got he's now my personal trainer, but back then he was just her personal trainer. She's like, I don't know, you might actually like her. She used to be a diabetic, a type 2 diabetic. She's lost weight from just eating and cooking. And she's like, so you might actually like her. She might give you something you don't know. So I started with her in December of 2019, and I have been with her up until July of this year as my personal trainer. I'm officially down to 252 pounds. My personal goal is 200, but I'm officially down to 252 pounds. I see my personal trainer 3 days a week. In July, she went on leave because she was having a little baby, so she needed to have time to take care of herself. Completely understand. And my wife's personal trainer became my personal trainer. And the difference between the two is night and day, because she's more of a HIIT personal trainer, which is high intensity exercise training, where he is a weight trainer. So I have learned more about slowing down, enjoying that burn that happens at the gym, I don't think it's enjoying. I'm just letting y'all know. It's not enjoying when you feel that muscle pull as you're building that, you're tearing down that old skeletal muscle and building actual muscle on top of that. I just want y'all to know that's excruciatingly painful. Raptor arms is not fun in this field because my body is not used to having to lift weights. When I started with him, my weight limit was 8 pounds. I am up to 15 pounds and almost everything. And my leg went from 20 pounds. I'm now up to 90 pounds. So I can squat on a squat machine 90 pounds plus plus my own weight. So I have been doing a lot of weight training lately that has also helped me help shrink me a lot. Like HIIT exercises shrink you, but weight training shrinks you because it burns that fat that's in there in the muscle better and longer, and it helps build that muscle and fat at the same time. So that is what I'm enjoying right now. Not really, but I'm enjoying it. He puts a good workout on me. Like I said, I see him 3 times a week. I see him Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 o'clock in the morning. I eat 6 times a day. Not technically eat. I eat 3 meals, but drink 3 protein meals still daily to get my daily protein in. So I can make sure that the muscles that I am tearing down and rebuilding is muscle and not fat. I've officially gone down from a BMI of, I want to say it was originally at a 57. I'm down to a 31 BMI. So I'm getting there. It's just taking time. And people ask me, well, it's taken you 10 plus years. Yeah, it may have taken me 10 plus years, but it has taken me 10 plus years of hard work to the point I have people that have always been overweight in my family and friends, or has progressively gotten overweight over the years. And they have seen the hard work that I have put in for myself. And they've decided to start making a change. One of my very close friends, I've known her son is 19. I've known him for 18 years. She recently too just went through and had the gastric bypass surgery. She had tried other things and it didn't work. And so she's kind of falling down the same lines where she's having medical problems right up front, which is okay. And she knows that I had medical problems. She experienced it with me. So I'm helping her through it. So being on that other end, I'm not at the physical shape that I want to be, but I'm mentally at the place where I can help those in my corners go through the same thing or experience it, or let me tell you what not to do. Or let me tell you what might actually help you. And that's been the most rewarding thing. I take monthly photos of myself. At the first of the month, I get up on my way to the gym. I'll stand in front of my mirror. I talk to myself every day. I tell myself every day I've done a damn great job. I have days where I don't see that. I still look in that mirror and see the 658-pound person. And I will always have that body dysmorphia in my head. There's nothing that's ever going to remove it. I know that that's not who's really looking in the mirror, but I will always remember, and excuse my language, bitch, I'm never going back there. I'm never going back there. So whatever I have to do that is legal, healthy and affordable for myself, I'm going to keep doing it. And this has been rewarding for me because I have a 4-year-old granddaughter. So being able to get up and play with her and run around with her and have that energy that I didn't, part of me is like, man, my children lacked so much for me as a parent, because now I'm seeing it as a grandmother. And I'm like, man, then I had to apologize to my son. I'm like, man, y'all had it. And I apologize because it wasn't fair. But I'm really, honest to God, just enjoying this process. Whether I have good days, whether I have bad days, I get asked a question all the time. What do you regret? I don't regret anything. I don't regret not a single thing from this journey. Do I miss anything? I don't miss anything that I stopped eating. I stopped drinking soda. I still have candy. I still have sweets, but I learned how to eat it in moderation. I learned good candy from bad candy. I learned good sweets from bad sweets. I can't drink milk. I'm one of those people that will never be allowed to drink milk. It's very rare in gastric bypass patients. Some people can, some people can't for a while and then bounce back and they're able to. I can't. It makes me extremely sick. So I still drink my coffee. How do I drink my coffee? With oat milk. I'm very particular about the oat milk that I drink. I buy what's called oat milk, MALK, and it's literally just water, oats, and salt. That's it. There's 3 ingredients in it. I never realized I'd be that ingredient reader person when I started this. That was something that was like, really? Am I that person now? Yes, I really am that person. How I buy my meats is very particular to me. Everything has to be organic or from a farm because I need to make sure what pesticides and stuff because like I said, I only eat chicken and salmon. So everything is fresh for me. I spend a lot of money when I buy meat because I need to make sure what's being taken. And my vegetables and my fruit is done the same way because I need to make sure I'm not ingesting those extra pesticides and stuff or chemicals into my body because I can't afford it. I am also a colon cancer survivor, so I've had colon cancer before. What people don't tell you in this process is passing a bowel movement, how important it is to you. And I know it's kind of like a TMI, but that's one of the most important things that I think that is not iterated enough in this process, because if you're not passing a bowel movement, it sits there and creates the ulcer. The ulcer then creates the polyp. The polyp then creates the cancer. So it has a domino effect if you are not paying attention to it. Nobody really explains that. They just say, just make sure you're pooping. Well, what does that mean? Like once a week, once a day, once every couple days? Like nobody really explains that and goes into detail. That needs to be something that needs to be brought up more and talked more about in this process, because you never really paid attention to it before. And then all of a sudden you're not passing a bowel movement. Well, why am I not passing a bowel movement? Because you've got a polyp. Why do you have a polyp? Because you've got colon cancer. So then you have to go through and get everything checked. And then you have to go through chemo. So through this whole process, like I said, it has not been an easy process for me. But I truly believe that people are delivered what God needs to test them on their faith in. And I feel like that is why I've had so much thrown at me, is to test my faith in believing in this process. And I will continue to believe in this process. I will continue to believe that it may not be easy right now, but at the end of the road, I'm going to be happy, because guess what? I did that. I can say I did that. I didn't have somebody else telling me, oh, well, I helped you. No. You may have been along the way to cheer me on, but I got up every day. I made sure I ate what I needed to eat. I made sure I drank my 100 ounces of water a day. I made sure I had my 3 liquid meals and my 3 actual meals a day. I'm the one that went to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Not you, me. I'm the one that has the bruises on the legs from the torn muscles. Not you, me. I'm the one that has to have the little massaging gun to massage those knots out of my muscles. Me and that thing have become best friends. I never would have thought. I'd been like, okay, let me just abuse myself. Yeah, no, but yes.
Yeah, I have definitely, since the moment I met you, watched your journey. And one thing that always stood out was no matter what, you kept going. You didn't stop. You didn't
Mhm.
feel sorry for yourself. Were you hurting? Yeah, because I remember those people coming over and cutting my hair with you standing over them, telling them how because you couldn't feel your fingers or you were hurting and you wanted to go home, but you knew I was coming in that day and you
Mhm.
waited, right, to
Mhm.
see me and then you went home. But you know what? You didn't stop. I mean, I remember one time you got all of your equipment stolen
Yep.
and you so all the things you get in school, all the kit, right? Like
Yeah.
everything got stolen. And
Yep.
you know what? You showed up. You didn't stop. You borrowed what you needed to borrow till you could, go past go to buy it all again. Like
Mhm.
it was crazy to watch. And the whole time you kept going and you had a positive attitude. And I know I watched it, and this is before I started on my healing journey. So, you know how much my journey has taken place as well from
Yeah.
the moment I first sat in your chair to get my hair done. But I was watching. I was one of those people that watched. And it's like, well, if she can do it, maybe I can do it. But I didn't know where to start. But I
Mhm.
was still watching, right? And
Mhm.
and you're an inspiration, is what you are. And it's just and now I watch you get up and go to the gym. And she tried to, you guys, she tried to get me going to the gym with her. Like we don't. We both live in the Houston area, and she's like, "Oh, you need to come." And I'm like, "Yeah,
I was like, you're more than welcome to come join me.
yeah." And I'm like, no, no, no. And if anybody knows Houston, we're the fourth largest city in the US, and the traffic is not nice. And so
Houston,
where her
there's that
gym
meme
is,
that says Houston is an hour from Houston. That is not a lie. Houston is an hour from Houston.
it is. It
I
definitely
have
is.
driven in LA traffic. I have driven on the East Coast traffic. I've driven on the Pacific Northwest traffic. When I tell you there is no traffic like Houston traffic, there isn't. I don't understand. I really don't.
I know.
I don't understand how Houston is an hour from Houston at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had a project come up for work, and they're like, oh, we need somebody to go downtown for 12 days. And I went, not it. Not it.
What did you not it?
2 hours in the morning to even remotely get downtown Houston.
Yeah.
And I live 32 miles. So, I mean, if that doesn't blow your mind, but I'm digressing. I'm getting way off of the path. So, I know that your wife has been right there with you every step of the way. In fact, she's working out as well.
Mhm.
And what about the rest of your family? Your kids and have
So
the
my
any
youngest son is 23. He just got
Mhm.
back from Korea, so he's at his new duty station right now. So he's currently stationed in New Mexico. My oldest is 26 and he is here in town. So I hadn't seen him because he was living in Montana for about 2.5 years. So when he moved back to town, he kept looking at me. He didn't say nothing. He just kept looking at me. And one day I was like, what? Because that's just the kind of relationship we have. I was like, what are you staring at? He's like, can I say something without offending? I was like, has life changed? He's like, no. I said, we just shoot from the hip, right? He's like, yes, ma'am. I said, so shoot. And he was like, damn, mama, you've lost so much weight.
Aw.
And I was like, it almost brought a tear to her. And I was like, thank you. He's like, but you shrunk. He said, I'm not talking about just weight. He's like, it feels like you've almost like impacted on yourself. He's like, I am just in awe how hard of the work you've done for yourself. And they never really wanted me. It was never something like, mom, we want you to lose weight or get healthy. It was, if you're happy, you're happy. But for me, it was, I need to do this for myself and then for my family. Myself was my main priority. And then my family was my second motivation. Um, as far as my external family, we actually went and saw some. family this weekend because my niece graduated from college, and one of the family members was like, damn, she's lost weight, but they haven't seen me since I was like 400 pounds. So going from 458 pounds to the 252 I am now, they're like, wait, where'd she go? That's a whole person. That is a whole person. And in total, I've lost 398 pounds in total. So that's 2 whole people. That's 2 whole people that I've lost. And I'm like, every day I look at that and I'm like, man, she was in there the whole time. I just had to carve and find her this whole process. I would have never, and that's why I take this picture in this pose, because it's the same tattoo. You can just now visually see it. That way you get the same angle every single time. So you can see this is not a game. There is no filter. There is no edit. There is no shrinking, image shrinking. No, this is me, good, bad, and ugly, you know, and I'm determined.
What do you see when you look at this side-by-side photo? Because like you said, you still see the person on the 2014 picture, right?
Right.
But looking at the pictures, what do you see?
So the crazy part is when I look at the picture, I'm like, man, I have a chin. Like I have a neck. I have a neck. There's a neck in there. And then I see, honestly, I see the unhappiness that I was, but I wasn't unhappy then. And that's the crazy part. I was very much happy, energetic. The same person you guys are hearing today is the same person I was back then. So I don't know, but I look so, like visually just looking at it, I look like I was so unhappy. And I really wasn't. I think I was unhappy with where my weight was and the lack of mobility that I had. Because back then, and I was only doing 10 steps a day. Back in 2014, I was only doing 10 steps a day because it took so much out of me just to walk. To the point where I see the muscle definition change in my stomach. Like I still have that pregnancy roundness to it. And my goal, like I see it, compare the two, and I'm like, well, it's not as big as it was, but how flat can I get it now? That's where my challenge is now. It's like, how flat can I get it without looking too sick? And that's why I have a personal goal. And people are like, well, how do you know what you want? Well, I know what I look like when I was 17 years old. When I had my oldest, I weighed 258 pounds when I delivered him. So I'm smaller now than I was when I delivered him.
Great.
So, right. I'm smaller now than when I delivered him. So I know that I can get smaller, but I don't want to be too much smaller because I remember before I got pregnant what I look like. And I've been trying to find it for like the longest time of what I look like before I got pregnant with him. And I remember the picture, so I know what it looks like. So I know where I want to be. And I want to be in the healthy range of 200 based off my height. I'm 5'8", you know, so my wife says I'm 5'7", but I promise you I'm 5'8".
Leave it to the
right. Another thing that changed is my feet got smaller. That was something that nobody talked about. Is my feet changed? My ring sizes changed, so I had to have several rings. I've lost a couple rings, but my wedding ring has had to be replaced several times to shrink. And then after so much, you have to get a whole new ring because the metal can only bend so far. But my family has been very supportive. I have a in-law that has recently said that I inspire them to want to get healthy themselves. And so I don't ever push it on anybody. I never push it. I offer, like I did with Sherry. I offer, I says, hey, I'm going to the gym.
Yeah.
Do you want to come with me? And no. I left it up to Sherry to be like, yes, no, you know. I let her make that choice, but that door will always be open in the event Sherry be like, Keleka, you remember that time you said, can I come to the gym with you? Yes, come, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And it may not be that our gym is not for her, but it's along the lines of just encouraging her to do something that I see that she's doing and letting her know, okay, I noticed you're trying something. Let me help, you know? And when she started, I told her, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me.
You did.
And she's always, when she has a question, she asks. If I don't know, I'll tell her. If I don't know, I'll find out. But guess what? I have enough people in my corners that are in this health industry field that somebody will be able to answer that question for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I've always been of the mindset the only dumb question is the one that's not asked.
Very good.
So I'm all about, if I got to look crazy so you don't have to look crazy, I'm okay with that, because guess what? We're going to get the answer. Because you may need that question, but what if somebody else needs it? Or what if somebody else is too scared to ask?
Right.
I'm okay with asking that crazy question. I'm okay with being the one that looks funny. Okay. And next, next.
I mean, it's just it's very inspiring. That's why I wanted you to come on so bad. Was um 10 years. 10
Yes.
years. And the people that I come across, and I'm sure the people that Becky uh crosses our paths, it's like in a month or two they're giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they don't understand why it's not, as Becky calls it, Amazon fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am like you. Every step, that's why I've my Instagram is Step by Healing Step, because I am slow. My body is responding slow to everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
have also fought for every little pound, every gain, every positive thing, every healing that's going on internally. It's been painstakingly um,
Rewarding.
rewarding, right? And it's like, well, again, I get the same questions. Why don't you give up? And it's like, because it's life or death at this point. I can go back to the Sherry I was at 275 pounds and get back on my type 2 diabetes medicine. And the doctors can keep adding more meds and more meds and more meds, or I can keep doing what I'm doing and not have to take those meds. And I don't.
Right.
I'm off of them. And am I going to get down to my goal weight? No, it's not happening tomorrow, and it probably won't happen next month.
But
But
guess what? It didn't take you it didn't take you a day to gain the weight. It's going to take you just as long as to take it back off.
that's right. And I'm okay with that. Like you said, now it's a journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's I have dug in so deep, and I know you have too. And but not only just with your weight loss and getting healthy, but I've watched you with your career. I mean, you have just you shine everywhere you turn. And feel free to touch on even that. So in the middle of trying to get healthy, you start a business.
Yes, I started my own. I do nails at home, but now I am a director of a beauty, barber, and esthetician school here in Houston. So I wear a lot of hats, and that was another question that was recently asked: is for someone who is as busy as you are, how do you take the time? You know what? I have to thank this little watch right here, my little iWatch, because baby, I have an alarm set in it, and it just says eat, and then it says drink. I have a 40-ounce Simply Me highlighter pink cup, and that bad boy travels with me all over school because I have it set in my mind. 40 ounces. I get up in the morning and I have a look. It's sitting next to my bed. It is 20 ounces and it is empty from this morning. I drink this before I leave. That way I know I have to fill my Simply cup up 2 times throughout the day and finish it to get my 100 ounces of water. Plus, on top of making sure I drink my 3 meals and eat my 3 meals. Now, am I going to say every single day I eat my 3 meals? Nope. I will not lie to you. There's days where I forget lunch, but I have breakfast and I have dinner, right? But how do I make it through the day? There's some days I'm just not hungry. There's just some days that the water is enough. My liquid proteins are just enough to let me last. And then by the time I get home, I'm good to have dinner with my wife. Let's take time, to eat together and then finish drinking the rest of my water. By the end of the day, I've emptied that cut twice. So I know I've gotten my 80 ounces at work and my 20 ounces in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Becky, do you have questions?
I was going to say that was going to be one of my questions, but she kind of touched on it. Was when I think of anyone that has had, surgery, they do small frequent meals or, smaller meals throughout the day. So you have 3 that are your liquid, which I'm going to assume is like your fruit protein smoothies.
I even
And
make me
then
coffee protein.
nice. And so then you end up and you have actually 3 meals that are food meals. Are
Yeah.
those your chicken and your salmon, or what do those other 3 meals look like?
So for breakfast, it is a high protein. So I typically do a fruit and a banana in the morning. So I'll give you an example. On Mondays is my exercise day. So in the morning, I get up and I take 1 scoop of instant coffee and pour it into my vanilla premier protein and shake it up as I go to the car. I grab a banana for me and I grab a banana for my wife. And then I grab a bottle of water to go with me to the gym to drink while I'm exercising. But it has my liquid vitamins in it. So I get my vitamins as I'm drinking my water throughout the day. There's 2 companies that I use vitamin wise. I use a company called Powder Vitamin, and it comes in 8 different flavors. And then I use the Mary Roos liquid vitamins. And I put those into my water and drink them throughout the day. So depending on which one I'm doing that day really depends on what I grab and honestly put in my water bottle. And then I drink the Premier Protein. That way I'm having protein as I go to the gym. That way that's the energy that I'm using is the protein from that. When I get home, I throw egg bites in the air fryer in the morning while I'm taking my shower, getting ready for work. So by the time I get out the shower and ready to walk out the door, my egg bites come with me. I eat my egg bites in the morning as I make me another coffee protein, which is just a Premier Protein, 2 scoops of instant coffee, and my oat milk creamer, which is just my oat milk and then a flavoring of some sort, which is typically all natural brown sugar added to it. So it really just depends on the creamers that I've made, which one I'm using. I also use the skinny syrups. I also use them in my coffee as well. So I really am careful of which ones because some of them have aspartame, some of them don't. So I avoid the ones that don't have aspartame. I mean, I use the ones that don't have aspartame. Let me re-say that. Sorry. So I then I've had my Premier at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then about 8 o'clock, I have my egg bites. And as I'm having my egg bites, I'm also making my Premier Protein coffee. So that comes to work with me. So by 10 o'clock, that is gone. So I've now had three proteins just by 10 o'clock in the morning. So for lunch, I eat, and I'm a creature of habit, so please don't judge me. But I'm one of those people that can eat the same meal every single day and be perfectly fine, okay? So I either make a salad myself or I do the purple carrot edamame meal or elote meal. Either one of those 3 meals is typically my lunch. And then I have built protein bars that I have on those days where I'm not really hungry, but I went to the gym, right? I know I need to get that extra protein in. So I have those for those days I don't want lunch, but I need to put that protein in. So I've got those at my desk. And I keep them stocked. So when I'm running low, I go get more, fill up my little drawer so I can make sure. And then I will have another another protein drink. That's typically where I will just use a Premier Protein and frozen fruit that I've made a combination, or I just buy the Dole fruit bags of fruit that are pre-made. It's typically the tropical blend in the afternoon. Blend that up. By the time I'm getting ready to come home about 4 or 5 o'clock. By the time I come home, I'm either cooking. That's where my chicken meal comes in, and my salmon meal comes in. So by the end of the day, I've typically consumed about 200 grams of protein a day. I've been really good at tracking my protein, my saturated fats, and my carbs. And people are like, but you pay attention to carbs. Well, technically, I don't need to eat too much carbs, but I do pay attention to my carbs. But I paid more attention to my protein and my fat intake than anything.
And so what does your carbs and your protein, or your carbs and fats, run in relation to the 200 grams of protein?
So that one, my carbs typically, I try to keep. Oh yeah, thank you. My wife had to point out my phone's next to me. So hold on, let me look it up because I'll tell you in just a second.
Spouses are wonderful.
Right. Right. So let's see. Let's go to my food log. Will you stop? Thank you. Sorry, just trying to open up. I do apologize.
It's all right.
So it's typically it's a 20% of my diet has carbs, and then the other 30 is my fats. So I eat more healthy fats. So for example, can I just have the details, please? Show me the details. There it is, nutrition button. I apologize. So for my carbs are typically about 101, and my fats, I'm sorry, my carbs are 68 and my fats are 101. And that's on an average. And that includes trans fats and saturated fats.
So in other words, you're not adding things like an avocado to your smoothie or anything like that to boost the fats
Nope.
in them.
So I like avocado in my salad, and that is it. Like, I'm one of them weird people. I like avocado dip, like if I make it, but I have to make it. I'm not buying it off the shelves. And I don't put it in smoothies. I barely do the greens to my smoothies, and I know this sounds crazy, but as somebody who's had gastric bypass, you have to pay attention to your greens. And people don't realize it is very gaseous to people. And with somebody who's had gastric bypass or a sleeve done, gas hurts. It is excruciatingly painful. So to process it, because you don't burp anymore. I'm going on 10 years of having my gastric bypass, and I just now started burping again. And it's not rare. It's not all the time. It's like once every 3-4 days, maybe a week, maybe even longer, that I will actually burp. But other than that, I don't. And that's one thing that you don't realize you don't do until it stops happening. And then you're watching and hearing everybody else burping, like, but you don't burp. So I had to be very careful with my greens. So I try not, if I know I'm going to have a salad that day, I try not to make a smoothie that I add greens to it in the morning, because then it's just extra pain I'm putting myself through. Look, I don't mind going through pain, but there's pain I'm not willingly going to deliberately put myself in, besides going to the gym and building these muscles. You okay? But as far as everything else goes, I'm very I still have my coffee. I still splurge and get my Starbucks. I still eat ice cream. I'm just very particular of how I eat it. I eat oat milk ice cream. There are so many other alternative options, and if milk is for you, by all means, let milk be for you. It's just not for me. But I still have those sweet tooth moments, so I need to find alternative methods for me that work for me. Me and Whole Foods are so close that I even order from Amazon. If I know I'm going to run late and I don't want to go in, me and Whole Foods are like this. I will order off Amazon so I can pick it up, because I know Whole Foods will have what I need. Even candy, like I'm just like everybody else. I still get sweet tooth. I just don't drink soda. I just started finding a soda substitute was a thing for me. right? Because I still crave carbonation every now and then, right? That is one craving that it's one of those things that if you don't grab it while you're having it, it will spiral out of control. And I'm one of those people that know that if I don't take care of it now, it will spiral to where I'm going to either binge or I will just hurt myself in the process of not of consuming it. So what does that mean? Like there was one day where I wanted, and I know it's a bad thing, but I wanted a Red Bull. And I mean, my wife opened a Ghost energy drink and the smell alone instantly set my cravings to the point where I was like twitching. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? Right? Because I hadn't had one in so long, but the smell was exactly like a Red Bull. So we were going through Dutch Brothers one day, right? And the lady always sees us because my wife gets tea there every day, right? And she was like, do you want something? And I was like, no. I was like, I just really want a Red Bull. And she's like, I got a substitute if you want to try it. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, it's called an OG gummy bear. I was like, okay, what is it? She said, it's sparkling water. It's sugar-free flavorings. She's like, it tastes like a Red Bull without the extras that a Red Bull has. And I was like, are you sure? She's like, it's called an OG gummy bear soda. Try it. She was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it to you. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And I was like, okay. So she gave me one. I didn't pay for it. She made it, gave it to me. Just try it out. When I tell you it instantly knocked that craving out, it instantly knocked that craving out. But when I know I'm going to have a craving or start to crave something, I will take care of it right then and there in a moderation so I can control what I'm consuming and control the desire to satisfy that craving. So I do everything in moderation. My candy's in moderation. My ice cream's in moderation. My soda is in moderation. I probably have an OG gummy bear soda from Dutch Brothers maybe once every 3-4 months, and I'm good. And I get a small, and I'm set for the day. Like I don't need it anymore. Last time I got it, I didn't even finish it. That tells you it was enough. And then there's times where I'll tell my wife, "Do you want the soda?" And she'd be like, "No." I'm like, "I just want to swallow." And there's been times where that's like all I wanted was just a swallow of it, and I won't get it until I know I want more than just a swallow, because I'm not going to waste the money on it.
Right.
But I don't want it to go to waste either, you know? So I'll wait till I really have that craving for it. Like I said, I still eat ice cream. I just get oat milk ice cream. So Delicious makes a really phenomenal ice cream. And it has all natural chocolates in it. So I get that chocolate fix too. I don't have a picture of it. I recently have been craving sour watermelon candy.
Oh.
Right? So we were at Whole Foods and I was like, let's go through the candy section of Whole Foods, because if I have a craving, let's figure it out. And I went through Whole Foods and they have this little candy bag, and it's sour something. They sell it at Target now. Let me look. Hold on. Sorry, I apologize about that. They sell it at Target. They just recently started selling it at Target, but it gives me that sour gummy candy flavor sensation, and I don't eat the whole thing. It just gives me what I need when I need it. So I've learned moderation works for me. I just have to learn how to control that moderation.
So how's your neuropathy now?
To be honest with you, I just went on a trip, like I said, to my niece's graduation in Mississippi. I did not have a single problem the whole way there. My legs normally swell on car rides because I've got a fear of flight. So I don't fly, I drive. We're working on getting me through that because we're going to Cancun next year. So
You can't drive.
right? That's what my wife keeps telling me. As you hear in the background yelling at me. Oh, it's called Smart Sweets. That's the name of the company. It's called Smart Sweets. They have peach rings, and then they have these little sour candies. They look like little watermelon slivers, and I can eat 2 or 3 of them, and then I'm good. And then there's like a bag of 20 of them. I mean, it just sits there forever, and then I'll go through it. You know, they don't get hard. They're super delicious. There's the ingredients in them are out of this world, healthy for you. And it just sits there, and that's what it does until I want some more of it. I eat chocolate cookies still. I still eat chocolate cookies. But once again, moderation. I even make protein power bites that taste more like chocolate chip cookie than anything. When we traveled to Mississippi, I was like, "Ooh, I need to find an oatmeal protein cookie that I can make myself because I love oatmeal cookies. I don't like the raisins. I don't like any of that extra stuff added. I just want a good oatmeal cookie by itself without all the extra." So that's actually a goal for mine this week, is to find a good oatmeal recipe that I can convert healthily for me.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's been an hour. Can you believe it? I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking about your journey. Again, it's one that I've watched since we met, and I put in the chat how folks can follow you,
Mhm.
follow your journey. Because you put it out there when you're lifting weights and you're a lot of positive reinforcement and things like that, that you're definitely I privately message you all the periodically going, you got this, keep going, do it.
Thank
you
you.
you know I'm so proud of you in your journey. But anything you want to add, Becky?
No, I just appreciate you coming on. I think the biggest thing, like you said, for many people is the moderation aspect, so that it doesn't set up a vicious cycle. And many people are able to be moderators. I guess some have to be abstainers, but those that are able to moderate, I think you're rocking it.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
I do too.
And then the last thing I'll say is, I know this is gonna sound weird, but another thing that helped me through is called Fat Kid Sunday. If you can't do it in moderation, do Fat Kid Sunday. What that means is that one day off during the week where eat what you want. Don't feel guilty, because the guilty is what makes you feel ashamed. Never be ashamed of who you are and what you intake. Embrace it, acknowledge it, and give yourself one day, okay, I'm allowed to eat whatever I want to eat this day and not feel guilty. And then those Fat Kid Sundays will become less and less and less. Because I can honestly say it started every single Sunday. I was looking forward to Fat Kid Sunday. And I can tell you, I don't think I've had a Fat Kid Sunday in a month or two now, almost. But you'll get to where you don't have to, you don't look forward to it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Don't feel guilty for you in wanting to enjoy something that a sweet, a candy, a soda. Enjoy it, embrace it. Just learn that there's other healthier versions of it out there. You just have to be willing to take the time to look for it. And if you don't, find somebody who can find that answer for you, because I'm one of those people. I'll find the answer for you, because you may be too scared, and I'm okay with having a little egg on my face to find an answer, because guess what? You don't know it, or you're afraid to ask. Somebody else may be afraid to ask him. I'm not afraid.
Right. Well, again, you are so inspiring. And the fact that, 10 years later, you're still going at it, girl. And I think that speaks to a lot of people out there, that people like me, people like you, people that this is not, as Becky says, Amazon fast.
Mhm.
We're going to fight for every goal, every step, everything we get. But you know what? We don't give up. And there, most people go 10 years, I'd have quit. But again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We will definitely reach back out to you when you hit your goal weight, girl, where you want to
I'm
be.
going to celebrate it. Believe me, that is a goal, as I plan on celebrating it with pictures and I plan on making a scene. I am not even going to lie to anybody. I'm going to be so extra with it
Great.
because I will have hit my goal, and that's my plan.
I
Awesome.
love it. All right. Well, keep at it. And we will have you back when you hit that. And of course, you know what? I will drive into Houston to have,
A function with
a
me.
dance party there with you.
I appreciate it, and I look forward to it. And I want to thank you, ladies, for allowing me to come on and just, share my story. And like I said, if I can help anybody with one thing, it's just embrace it, because guess what? It's my story is no different than anybody else's. I just took the first step forward to actually making that change. So don't hesitate to reach out to me, to anybody. Somebody will find something for you, and there's somebody out there that's the best fit for you to help you on your journey.
I would agree with that. Well, thank you. Thank you, Becky. Thank you both, ladies. I appreciate it. We don't want to keep you any longer since, this is a Monday evening. So you girls have a great rest of your evening and a good week. And I'll be watching you exercise. So,
Of course. Anytime.
all